15 seconds early.
Put this baby on.
Well,
I hate to keep looking around, but are we on? Yes? No?
Maybe. When they turn on.
I was like,
We are, okay. Sorry for the delay. Good afternoon and welcome to the first regularly scheduled meeting of 2025 for January 14th. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we have a call for attendance, please?
Commissioner Hargis.
Here.
Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
Commissioner Pruitt.
here.
Commissioner Witt.
Here.
Mayor Staten.
Here. I'd like to, before we get started, there was a new name in that role, and I'd just like to say welcome to Commissioner Hargis. This is her first meeting, so thank you, and looking forward to a good meeting. So first off, Buzzy, we've got a recognition of new employees.
We do, and at this time, Chelsea, do you would like to bring up your new person or persons?
We have one new employee here with us today. Her name is Lori Hatfield. She's our new account representative or the front counter. She started last Tuesday, so right around the ice storm. So we're happy to have her. And she previously worked with the school system and also with Vectron back in the day, now Centerpoint. But we're happy to have her aboard. And then we also had one other person, an account rep, part-time, but she couldn't make it today. But her name is Brianna Smoot.
All right. So what brought you to the city of Henderson, employment-wise?
Just change of pace.
Yeah.
I worked in the middle school, so, you know.
So instead of taking care of small kids, you got big kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, and I'm sure your patience will be tested here as well. But we appreciate having you, and thank you so much for coming on board.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Well,
Let's see, Tim's not here. Aaron, there you are.
We're with the gas department. We have two new employees. Nick Thatcher's returning to us after leaving he worked with us for about a year and 3 months. Went to Owensboro to become a policeman, but came back to us after some. It's not something I don't want to personal word. And then we have Jarrett Williams. He's joining us for our measurement technicians. It's great because since I've been here for about 3.5 years, this is the first time that we are almost entirely full in the gas department. So we're super excited with them joining. They both started. Well, Jarrett started right before the cold storm, and Nick was supposed to start on Monday, but the city was closed, so he started on Tuesday.
The whole city was closed.
So, but we're excited to have them, and
Good deal. Well, I ask these questions because I'm genuinely curious, because we're all the time trying to make sure that the work environment here is the best it can be. What was it that attracted you back and you to the city? What was it that stood out that made you want to come work here?
Definitely the great people and the great opportunities you get with the city of Henderson. So that's what brought me back.
Good answer.
I like it.
That's fantastic.
I was filling out applications, and you guys called me back.
Oh, right. Hey. Look at that.
That's a good answer.
So what you're saying is we're prompt with our callbacks because of our good people.
that's exactly how it works.
Well, that's great. Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you, guys.
And welcome. We appreciate you.
Welcome, guys.
Bart, would you like to bring your new employee?
Bart, are you guys not full yet? You're here every meeting.
We're close. We're
All
close.
right.
We lost one to Pratt, but then we're getting close.
All
So,
right.
this is Daryl Mace. He's a operator of South Water Treatment Plant. Come to us from Stockton, California.
Holy
Wow.
cow.
Yeah, long way. So we're definitely glad to have him. So I asked him, why'd you come? He said, well, it's a job opening, and I just did it. So, yeah. So
So how long you been here?
A month.
A month.
Yeah.
So aside from the snow and the ice, what's your first impression of the area? How
I'm loving it.
good?
So, hometown roots is going to keep me here.
That's awesome.
And the cost of living.
And the cost of living,
Yeah.
for sure.
A bonus that the city's not on fire.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, I hope and pray that you don't have anybody back home that's involved with any of the fires.
Fortunately, I have one friend. He's safe and he's evacuated, but
Good.
my family is all safe.
Deal.
Yeah, we're dealing with ice and they're dealing with fire, and each one has its own challenges, and we certainly are keeping everybody in our prayers for those things. But thank you for coming on board. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome.
Bob?
This is Jason Barnes. He comes to us from Madisonville. He retired from Madisonville PD last May, and we hired him as a resource officer. And in that 20-year period, he was an elementary school resource officer for 8 years. So our goal of filling all the schools up with resource officers, we're making headway. And he started last Tuesday, so he was at the high school today, so he'll get trained in and be at the elementary school very soon.
So my question's for you. Did we seek him out, or did you seek us out, or was it kind of a mutual thing? How did that happen?
We're not at liberty
We
to say.
programmed
Gotcha.
We had a response,
He's
like I
here.
said, to explain it to you. Now, Chris Robinson came, he recently came back, because he was here, went to Madisonville and came back, and they talked down there, and he suggested him, so I reached out to Jason, and he was interested, so.
Well, good. That's an important lesson that all of our employees could learn, is that if you go somewhere else and you talk good about where you came from and where you're going, you might just bring a couple other people with you.
That's true.
Yeah, and as long as our people like you are doing a good job with the employees, then they'll have something good to talk about, right?
Well, we hope so.
Good deal. Welcome back aboard, or welcome aboard. Appreciate it.
Hey, good to be here. And Bob,
Sir,
you can't take our gas department employee.
is that a rule?
Do you heat with gas?
As a matter of fact.
Enough said. And I believe that's it, Mayor.
All right. And so next up, we have a service award. If I could have Assistant Fire Chief Willie Curry join me at the podium.
Assistant Fire Chief Curry began his career with the Henderson Fire Department as a firefighter on December 20th, 2004. He promoted to fire driver engineer on August 8th, 2011, and on April 14th, 2014, he promoted to lieutenant fire captain. On August 5th, 2024, Assistant Fire Chief Curry was promoted to Assistant Fire Chief, his current position. Assistant Fire Chief Curry graduated in 2006 from the University of Southern Indiana with a Bachelor of Science in Exercise Science. He is one of the founding members of 9/11 Gives Hope charity organization. Assistant Fire Chief Curry is a peer support member, honor guard member, and car seat technician. He's a former member of the 2008 Firefighter Combat Challenge qualifying team. He has represented the City of Henderson's Fire Department by participating in the Guns and Hoses boxing event in Evansville, Indiana, where the policemen and firemen take it to the ring. Assistant Fire Chief Curry has been married 13 years to his wife Donna, and they have 3 children, Obadiah, and twin girls Amaya and Kaya.
correct.
In his free time, Assistant Fire Chief Curry enjoys working out, fishing with his family, coaching his son's baseball team, and hanging out with his dog Judah. Assistant Fire Chief Curry, the city appreciates your dedication, loyalty, and service, and we are happy to have you with us today to thank you for all your hard work and dedication to the city with a presentation of this 20-year service award pin and throw blanket.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So there's your pen, and Sam, where are these blankets made at?
I get them from Abbott.
Okay, so here's your soft and American-made throw blanket from the city of Henderson.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for your 20 years of service, and if you've got anything you'd like to say, the podium is all yours.
It's been a good career. It's been long, still going. I never thought I'd be anywhere 20 years, so it's been a blessing. City's been good to me, and that's all I can say. My family's not here. We had to move a lot of things around, but they said they still love me. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cuzzy, is this happening?
20 years.
I'm looking at this candidate. She was not here.
Okay, good. And then next up, I would like to invite Mr. Neal up to the podium for the presentation of our fiscal year 2024 city audit report.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you all hear me? Because I'm kind of stopped up today. Do the best I can do. We've completed the audit for the year, fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024. And what we do, we start out, we go through the system documentation, look at your processes and key steps, and we assess risk. We have to look at the city as a whole, not just at the books and how factors outside the city could impact the financial statements. We also do start our risk assessment internally, look at, the tone at the top, how you as elected officials review adherence to policies and procedures. And the big factor in that's monitoring how well the monitoring is, the checks and balances and approval of transactions, and the monitoring is very strong in the city. The audit report's about 157 pages long, and you don't want me going through it page by page. We'd be here next Friday. So I'm going to hit the highlights, but the liabilities and deferred inflows on your government-wide exceeded outflows by approximately $1 million. Your unrestricted net position is a negative $31.7 million. And as I told the audit committee, that's due to the pension liabilities, which are approximately $49.3 million. And that's not anything you're going to have to pay off in any year. That's the county employees retirement system. And that'll last. That's something that's about a 30-year payout on that liability. But the business type activities reported an increase in net position of $11.6 million. And as I said, that $49.5 million is your liability and $1.4 million for your OPEB. The general fund, which is a primary fund that provides services to the city, the fund balance increased $4.2 million, which is very good for the year. The ending total fund balance is $24.4 million, which is very strong. It's 244.6 days worth of expenditures. And your unassigned fund balance which hasn't been obligated for any purpose, but general operations is 25.5 days. One of the key things that Moody's looks at when rating the city is your cash balances and your fund balances. And that's a significant weight of the rating process, 30%. And the city's most recent rating is AA3, which is very strong for a municipality our size. And Moody notes our credit strengths are healthy reserves, moderately sized tax base, located near Evansville, and a strong fund balance policy. And then the credit challenges and moderate reliance on the pilots from utilities, and that's the city's weaned off of that in the last few years. And they look at the above average leverage right now with the debt, the borrowings on behalf of HWU and the Hempel. And they look at our demographics, the below average per capita income and wealth of the area. But their forecast for the city is the financial position will remain healthy, supported by management's history of conservative budgeting and strong fiscal policies. And I think the history of conservative, strong fiscal policies is why the fund balance is so strong this year and the trend's gone up. But you can see out of the total general fund balance, there's $2.2 million that's unassigned. The bulk of it, 85%, $20.7 million has been assigned for various projects, and a small amount's committed for capital projects of $1.4 million. And just the trend to see how the financial health of the city's improved since 2019. 2019 was the last year a deficit was experienced in the general fund, and you can see over the last 6 years it's up to $24.4 million, which is very strong, and that strong fund balance helps the city keep a very strong credit rating. Whoops, going the wrong way. And then you can see the days in fund balance. It's gone from 127 days in 19, the last time there's a deficit, to 244.6 days. So again, that's indicative of very strong trends. Your general fund revenue sources, you can see we're like most cities now. As I told the audit committee earlier, had you looked back 10 years ago before the payroll and the net profits were in, 32% of the funding would have come out of the utilities. The city relied on the utilities heavy. With the advent of the payroll profits tax, we're more like a normal city, and about 2/3 of our general fund revenues comes from insurance tax, payroll taxes, and property taxes, as most municipalities in Kentucky. And the revenue trends of the last 2 years, they picked up substantially, as you can see, that all the governmental funds, the special revenue and the general funds had revenue of $50.5 million for the year ended June 30th. Your expenditure trends were up substantially 2023 and 2024 due to capital expenditures, and the increase for this year over last year is primarily due to about $11.4 million being spent on the new sports complex, which by the way is going to be very nice. Got to look at it the other day. Public safety, it's increased substantially. That's where the biggest bulk of the general fund goes for, is police and fire protection, which is common in most municipalities. The natural gas fund on the other side, it's been sporadic the last few years. Typically, between 2020 and 2022, there was quite a bit taken out for the payment in lieu of tax to the general fund. That wasn't the case in 2024, but 2023, the net income was $4.7 million. That was due primarily to $4 million being injected in the form of an EDA grant for Pratt paper. But after the dust settled this year, the gas fund had about a $1.4 million profit. And you can see the trends over the last few years. Transfers in some years exceeded operating income, and that's because of that money went to the general fund. But again, you can see that's not the case. The last 2 years, revenues exceeded what was transferred out. Now, one of the other biggest liabilities next to the pension are the landfill closure cost. They're right at about $5.3 million. And you can see the unfunded portion is 24% or $1.2 million. The city set aside about $3.9 million to fund those costs, so you're in very good shape addressing that. Another highlight is your health insurance went down about $1.1 million this year, and that's primarily a function you didn't have many people hit the stop loss, and also there's fewer employees. So there's a lot of unfilled positions, primarily in the public safety area. As I talked about, your net pension liabilities, you can see this graph shows for Hempel, HW, as well as the city. Collectively, as of 2024, citywide for everything, including the component units, your net pension liability is about $67 million. And again, that's not anything that's going to have to be paid in 1 year. And hopefully, I think it's projected over time, eventually the CERS will be on solid footing. And your OPEB trend, which is retiree health insurance, that dropped substantially this year as it did across the state, dropped about $12 million. And one of the things I wanted to point out, I pointed out to the audit committee, is your general bonded debt. You're at a point now where if most of the debts was issued on behalf of HW and Hempel, because general obligation bond interest is far less than issuing revenue bonds. But you've got about $40 million cap left on your legal borrowing limit. So you're at about $98 million this year, and it's about $141 million is the legal debt limit of the city based on property valuations. And other than that, I'll just end it. The city's in very solid financial shape. Everything, we had no findings or recommendations, which is unusual. You're of a handful of clients. We do several hundred audits out of our West Kentucky offices and a lot of governmental entities, and we had no findings or recommendations. So that speaks highly for your staff.
And Matt, for
Deal, yeah.
great audit.
Yeah, even though you said it twice, I wanted to repeat it about our bond debt. You know, we do only have $40 million left on our cap, but I think it's very important to stress that we've allowed our utilities to take advantage of lower rates through us, and that the bulk of the debt that we have is that utility debt.
Right, 26 million of that.
So you said makes up what, about 2/3 of it, right?
The 2/3 are the component of the utilities.
I just don't want anybody thinking that we've gone out and spent money willy-nilly or whatever, and, you know, all that, so.
No, it's actually save the utilities money by doing it in
Yeah.
that fashion.
Yeah.
They probably
And the
save them
taxpayers.
1.5%.
Chelsea, you want to come up and make a few comments also? Historically, we always would have Robert come up right after the audit and make a few comments.
She knows all the answers.
I'll just reiterate the fund position or fund balance that he was talking about with the 20.7 million assigned. We had a previous work session, I believe, a couple months ago that we kind of went through that with all the projects that we're wanting to assign for the next couple of years. So I think that work session shows that we're clearly in a good position for our fund balance there. And then also with the legal limit, we have also talked about that in the work session. So I think those are the two biggest things that I wanted to address there.
Do anybody have any questions for either of our guests?
One comment, I will say this year's audit has required probably more time this year than it has in the past due to some assistance that Chelsea needed from ATA in getting the documentation to them for the audit. So I just wanted to say to both of y'all, thank y'all for pulling all this together, and I know it's been an anomaly year of effort behind all of this, so thank you. And then Commissioner Witt, being the chair of the audit committee, may want to say something.
Yeah, I think, obviously it's a testament to how well the city's doing, and more of a testament than, anything we're doing up here, but to how well all the employees are doing and how well all the departments are doing. But if there's no more comments, then I would make a motion that we accept the audit report for fiscal year 2024.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, Commissioner Witt, second, Commissioner Pruitt. Any comments, questions?
I just want to say, Chelsea, congratulations. What is your first one by yourself?
Yep, my first one.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's really a big deal that, you mean there's no minor findings either? I mean, that's a big deal. Usually you have something minor in audits like
She's
these.
a CPA, she knows.
Well, fantastic job. I hope Robert Gunter's watching.
Video.
Mayor, I was like, looking at our succession plan, I think it's working
Yeah,
great.
yeah, doing a great
All
job.
things
Thank
we've
you.
done.
We're in good shape.
Yep.
All right, so we have a motion and a second on the floor to accept the audit as presented. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis. Aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Thank you both very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you all.
Next up is the consent agenda.
The consent agenda consists of 3 sets of minutes, December 3rd, 2024, the special work session, December 10th, 2024, special called meeting, December 19th, 2024, special called meeting. Resolutions, resolution approving Human Resources Report dated January 14th, 2025. Resolution appointing Commissioner Robert Pruitt and Commissioner Nick Witt to the Audit Committee for the City of Henderson. Resolution appointing Commissioner Rodney Thomas to the Board of Occupational License Appeals. Resolution appointing Mayor Brad Staten and Tim Clayton as directors to Board of Public Energy Authority of Kentucky, in parentheses, PEAK. Resolution appointing Commissioner Kelsey Hargis to serve on Downtown Henderson Partnership Committee. Resolution appointing Commissioner Kelsey Hargis and Commissioner Rodney Thomas to the City County Cooperative Study Team. Resolution appointing Mayor Bradley S. Staten to serve on the GRAD, Green River Area Development District Board. Resolution approving agreement and statement of affiliation between the Henderson City County Rescue Squad, Inc., the City of Henderson, the County of Henderson, and Henderson Emergency Management.
All right, before we get a motion to approve, do we have any item on the consent agenda that any commissioner would like to pull for further discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve, please.
Moved.
Got Commissioner Thomas, and a second.
Second.
Commissioner Witt. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
And Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, under second readings, we have an ordinance amending job classifications for HWU.
Ordinance number 5924, ordinance amending job classifications and pay plan. An ordinance approving amendment to job classifications and pay plan by creating the position of HWU GIS analyst and CAD technician.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pruitt, Commissioner Witt. Do we have any comments, questions, suggestions?
I'd like to make one comment for Commissioner Hargis's benefit. At every commission meeting, we bring to y'all our status of our hiring of new employees. So it's something new we started, and so you'll see that almost on every agenda.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
And Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance amending Henderson HWU budgeted positions.
Ordinance number 60-24, ordinance amending portion of Henderson Water Utility 2024 to 2025 budget.
We missed one of the readings. Second.
No, there's just two on my list, unless there's another one on a different agenda I didn't have.
This is the second.
Yeah.
Do
This
it.
is the second.
The second reading?
This is
This
the
one
second
was.
reading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ordinance amending Henderson Water Utility budgeted positions and job classifications of the 2024 to 2025 budget by adding one wastewater treatment operator, 2 position, removing one HW maintenance technician, 2 position, and replacing the HWU GIS analyst position with the newly created position of the HWU GIS analyst and CAD technician.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Commissioner Witt, Commissioner Thomas with the second. Any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a first reading for an ordinance pertaining to Jimmy John's.
Ordinance accepting public improvements. An ordinance accepting public improvements consisting of sidewalks and curb and guttering on Reddick Road.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner Witt. Any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
And Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a resolution appointing the Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Henderson.
Resolution appointing Kelsey Hargis as Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Henderson, Kentucky.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
Move.
Commissioner Pruitt,
Second.
Commissioner Thomas with a second. Do we have any comments, questions, or suggestions?
Just want to say welcome aboard.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
And I want to thank you all for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to working alongside and serving for this term. So,
They didn't tell you, but I missed like half the meetings. So you're very busy.
oh boy.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
And I myself?
Oh, that's
Okay.
good. That's a good
I was
question.
like,
She can eye herself?
I don't.
Yeah, you can eye
Okay.
yourself.
Sure, yes.
Or you can name yourself, you know? Based on what he said, you can name it too if you want.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, under bids and contracts, we have a municipal order awarding a bid for the renovation of Atkinson Park public restrooms.
Municipal order awarding bid for services relating to the renovation of Atkinson Park public restrooms to Allied Contracting Group of Madisonville, Kentucky, in the amount of $50,150.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So move.
Commissioner Pruitt. Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Hargis. Do we have any comments, questions, suggestions?
I could recommend maybe Trace give an explanation of what's going on with this project.
Very convenient. He's standing right there.
Sure. What this is we are embarking on a project to renovate certain facilities in our parks. And one of the first ones we chose was the public restroom in Atkinson Park. That's the restroom that is just to the side of the barbecue pits in Atkinson. It's one of the 2 year-round restrooms that's heated and air-conditioned in the parks. And what this project will do is it will renovate the interior of it, which is including exchanging the porcelain toilets, which unfortunately we see vandalism damage with some of the stainless steel ones. The same for the sinks, the mirrors. It will replace doors in there as well as water heaters, and some other things to it. So it's really doing a lot for the inside of it, and we hope to extend that to a couple of the other restrooms as we see the success of this one and as time goes on.
Good deal. Any other comments or questions for Trace? Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Did we already get a motion on that?
We got motion.
Oh, we did. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order pertaining to Bentley Properties.
Municipal order authorizing lease of approximately 43 acres on Old Cordon Road, PID number 46-10, known as the Bentley property, for farming to Prairie Land Farms LLC of Henderson, Kentucky, at $266 per acre for the 2025 crop season, with the option for the lease to be extended for up to 2 additional one-year periods.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
Approve.
Second.
Commissioner Hargis, Commissioner Pruitt with the second. Do we have any comments, questions, suggestions?
Point of clarification, the Bentley farm, don't get it confused with the Bentley housing development. This is a farm that we jointly bought with HWU for future economic development purposes. And I will say that all revenue and all expenses are shared 50-50 with HWU.
Good deal. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order for some fire apparatus.
Municipal order accepting proposal of Butch and Billy's Diesel Service for fire apparatus preventive maintenance and repair for the City of Henderson Fire Department in the estimated amount of $38,306.70.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Commissioner Thomas, we have a
Second.
second with Commissioner Witt. Any comments, questions, suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
And Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order authorizing the purchase of a used tractor.
Municipal order authorizing purchase of a used 2009 John Deere 6330 tractor and 2014 Woods 15-foot rotary cutter, in parentheses bush hog, for the Public Works Department, with cost and use of machinery to be shared between the City of Henderson and Henderson County Fiscal Court from Wright Implement One LLC, Owensboro, Kentucky, in the amount of $60,000.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
Move.
Commissioner Pruitt, do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Hargis. Do we have any comments, questions, or suggestions?
I have an explanation of why we're purchasing this. As y'all are aware, at the end of this year, current year 25, the I-69 Phase 1 project will wind up. And once that project has been closed out, the state of Kentucky and the city of Henderson and the county of Henderson have an MOA agreement to assume ownership and maintenance responsibilities for about 140 acre storage basins that were constructed as part of Phase 1 of I-69. So the maintenance of that will fall back on the heels of the Flood Mitigation Board, as well as the use of the tractor can also be on the city's expense side to maintain, and I can't tell you right now, but I'm going to guess about 25 to 30 acres of surplus right-of-way that the city will receive from the state of Kentucky as a result of the closure of the 2084 interchange. And if you don't know where that is, it's the interchange that is there by Algonquins. If you've not driven by there lately, you can see that the bridge demolition, roadway demolition is all occurring. And it's going to be a rather large tract of land that fronts 2084. So as you can tell, we're going to have a lot of right-of-way maintenance to do going forward as a result of not only that area, but in addition will be the storm retention basins along I-69.
Do you have any other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt,
Aye.
Commissioner Witt,
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Last up in our bids and contracts, we have a municipal order pertaining to a CAD radio project for 911.
Municipal order approving consulting contracts with Federal Engineering Incorporated for the consultation and oversight of the implementation of the Emergency Communications Replacement/Upgrade Project, including a consulting agreement for the computer-aided dispatch, in parentheses CAD, for a fee of $99,764, and a consulting agreement for the radio system upgrade for a fee of $81,253, and authority for the mayor to execute each agreement.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So move.
Pruitt, do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Thomas. Buzzy, you want to tell us a little bit more about this one also?
I do, and I asked Jordan to come to the podium as well, but let me give you a little background history. 8 to 10 years ago, the Board of Commissioners, as well as the Fiscal Court, agreed to expend about $8 million to put in a new radio system as well as a new CAD system. And at that time, we engaged with Federal Engineering to help us with the radio system, not the CAD system. So we found Federal to be very beneficial in helping us get through the technical specifications as well as the bidding process and the startup of our radio system. And as we go through this next generation of CAD, Jordan and I spoke about it, and I felt pretty strong that we have a consultant assist Jordan in the acquisition, implementation of a new CAD system. In addition to that, I found it very insightful on Jordan's part that she is looking ahead due to our radio system being as old as it is and technology has changed. The Federal Engineering will evaluate the current status of our radio system. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to you to further take what I may have already taken away from you.
Sure, thank you. I mean, Buzzy pretty much summed it all up there, so thank you for that. But just to add a little bit to what Buzzy said, start with the radio system. Motorola has already given us a proposal, given that our radio system is 10 years old at this point, and that proposal is quite a large lump sum of money. So we've asked Federal to just look at that proposal and break it down and look at other options to see if there is another option that may benefit what we already have in place, to just keep us, moving forward with technology and, be wise with our system and financially wise as well. So Federal, they're very good at what they do. Of course, they implemented our first radio system, so they know the system, and they are going to give us action as well, like for future to act on. So, and as well for our law enforcement, fire throughout the county, they are having to go ahead and make plans for their own departments to replace their fleet of radios. So you may see that in their budgets as well, and they're going to make a plan for all of that. We spend quite a bit of money on our radio towers, so they will outline, exactly the maintenance that we can expect in the future for those. About the CAD system, Buzzy pretty well said everything that I was going to say about that. I will say that we were awarded the grant of $130,000, so that pretty well pays for the project for the grant portion of the CAD system. The total project for both the CAD and the radio for federal engineering is $181,000. So with the city paying their portion and the county paying their portion, with the grant, we're only lacking $12,000. So I think that's pretty good. So, any questions that anybody may have of me?
Good job.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And we already got a motion. Do we have any other questions, suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Before we move on to the city manager's report, I just wanted to thank Donna Madden. You might have noticed that I've been calling out the people who make the motions. That's for her benefit, just to kind of make things a little easier for us. But you've done a fantastic job filling in for Jessa, who's at home and under the weather. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. City manager's report.
Depends which agenda you look at, but on the screen, or at least my screen, it shows action pull update. Trace, I don't want to catch you off guard. If you would rather wait and do that at our next meeting, or you can do it, that says wait till next time? Yes, please. Okay, we'll skip over action pull. Number 2 is the rezoning of number 1172 with the graphic development plan. Dylan, do you or Jenna would like to come to the podium and explain what this is about, since it is city-owned property?
Hi. So this is regarding the sports complex. As you're aware, there is a proposed sign for the main entrance off of Airline Road. It turns out that this sign is too large for what the property was currently zoned as, which was agriculture. So what we did was we took it to Planning Commission and proposed that it be rezoned to general commercial for a commercial center, which would allow a higher square footage.
So as we always tell you, we start that 21-day process for any aggrieved parties that would like to come before the commission. I will say that this is Jenna's first project where she's had to go to the planning commission and get that approved, and now before y'all. So congratulations, and again, she's another succession plan person to replace Dylan in his project manager former capacity. So good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, got a couple other things. I'd like to acknowledge for the storm event. We've got Brian Williams, we have Trace, Josh Dixon, and Bob Schultz in the room, as well as Jordan Webb. I will say this to all of those departments and their employees. They did a fantastic job, not only handling car wrecks, medical runs, 911 calls. They all did a fantastic job in getting our community back into a position where I think we're only really down one day in the community. And as y'all are aware, we anticipate that our governor will contact the president and declare a national disaster for our area, which means we will be eligible for FEMA reimbursement. We will keep you updated as we know more from that. We hope that it gets done before next week.
The declaration.
The declaration. Now, what I want to say to all of you, with the help of Holly, we have reached out to the community and asked the community to stockpile all of their tree limbs out between the curb and the sidewalk. And if you've noticed around town, citizens have begun to do that. And what will happen next, in the latter part of this report, we are going to discuss the mayor and the city manager entering into agreements that will allow us to bring in FEMA contractors to help begin the debris pickup and management of the debris, as well as the monitoring, and documentation for reimbursement. Many of y'all weren't here in '09. I can tell you it was a monumental task. As y'all, some of you may remember, I think, Robert, you may be the
Yes.
only one. It took us 4 to 5 years to get reimbursed. It was between $300,000 and $400,000. And it's just a daunting task, and it's something that right now we don't have any current staff that have had the experience or knowledge to do that. So the reasoning behind this is we'll ask for that to be done. And then the,
Do you want me to?
you could.
Yeah. So in relation to that, our city attorney drew up a motion at my request this morning in relation to what Buzzy just mentioned. So Commissioner Thomas has that motion. If you'd like to read it, sir.
All right. I move the commission give the authority to the mayor to execute the agreement with EUDS Consulting to do reporting on behalf of the city of Henderson to FEMA pursuant to the state of emergency and executive order 1 through 25. Furthermore, related to the state of emergency, to give the mayor and the city manager the authority to obtain a land and air permit for the disposal site for the debris from the ice storm and to obtain and execute contracts for debris removal, including removal of hanging limbs of city right of ways.
Do we have a second?
Second.
You can pick one.
Go ahead. Nick, give it to me. Second.
Do we have any comments, questions? Buzzy just went over pretty much everything involved there, but do you have any follow-up questions or comments or anything? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hargis.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
And Mayor Staten.
Aye. And Dawn, did we get that rescind letter turned in this morning?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we turned in a letter this morning, and the state of emergency on behalf of the city has officially been rescinded as of this morning. Just to let everybody know, as a matter of fact, so. Does it?
One other item, on the heels of the ice storm, we probably had the biggest fire event Henderson has seen probably since the Atlas TAC fire, maybe period table, which were decades ago. I just want to acknowledge how well the fire department handled the scene. I want to acknowledge the police department supporting the fire department in securing the area. Public Works supported the effort with the fire department to help put out the fire using heavy equipment. We had 911 who was helping coordinate the county volunteer departments, and as well as we got mutual aid from Ohio Township in Indiana. So with all the effort, all I can say, it was a well-oiled machine, and I just want to acknowledge everybody's efforts in containing that fire. And I will say this, had they not got it under control, it would have been much worse, not only on that side of the railroad track, but on the other side of the railroad track. So congratulations to all of y'all. Please thank your employees. And if anyone else has any comments about that.
You good?
That's it.
Thank you, sir. Dawn, I believe you had something under the city attorney's report you wanted to mention?
I do. Henderson Leadership Initiative, I think most of you all are familiar with it. And I think 3 of you all have been fellows. I've also been a fellow. Our graduation is this Thursday at 5:30 at the Fine Arts Center, and one of the projects does involve the city. So if you all are available, it would be wonderful if you all could attend the graduation.
Deal, thank you, ma'am. We do have need for executive session. Before we do, let's go ahead and clear out the commissioners and mayor's comments. Commissioner Hargis, do you have anything that you would like? So the commissioners' comment section is just a section where you are free to talk about or ask or do whatever you'd like to say or do, but a lot of times people don't, and a lot of times people do. So that's the best explanation I can give you. Do you have anything you'd like to add to the meeting on behalf of yourself?
Baby steps. I'm good
Yes.
today.
Okay.
Good today.
Commissioner Thomas.
I just want to welcome Commissioner Hargis.
Hey, look at that.
First meeting. Look forward to working with you.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Yeah, I just want to double down on what Buzzy said about how well all our staff and employees worked during this ice storm. And I want to thank, I've seen some trucks from out of state that were helping with the electrical wires. So I want to thank them for coming. So been I think, like Buzzy said, a well-oiled machine, because in 2009, it didn't go as smooth. And this wasn't as bad as 2009, but I think we learned a lot 2009 that helped out the way we performed this past week. That's all of us.
Commissioner Witt.
I guess can you triple down on?
You can. You can. No
Very
takebacks.
kind.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think it's bears worth repeating multiple times. I mean, I think all the comments I heard from people, even people without power for days, was just how appreciative they were of everybody working hard, and and Hempel and everybody at the city trying to keep everybody informed. I don't think every community was experiencing quite as good of communication and coordination as the city of Henderson was. So just kudos to everybody at the city. A lot of what we do is obviously meaningless in the grand scheme of things, but whenever an emergency or something hits, the city employees pull through every single time. So good work. Thank you.
And I'll quadruple.
Would be 4 down?
Yes, yeah, that's 4, yeah. I'll quadruple down on that. Just wanted to say, echo what Buzzy said about all of our departments. Yes, sir.
Can I put just a little thing, tag on there?
Are you going to quintuple?
I want to put a tag on the
Yeah, please come out.
sanitation department.
Yes.
I think they did a tremendous job. We did go through all the routes this week. It went through Saturday to get it done, but a lot of the other area communities stopped their trash pickup and didn't do it at all. So I think we need to give a plug to them too. 'Cause
Yes, sir.
It was some tough days out there.
Yes, sir. And in addition to what you're saying, the Public Works took care of a lot of different things at a lot of different times, and you had so much responsibility thrown at you in terms of continuous sanitation cleanup, continuing to treat the roads, and then also all the debris pickup and helping with resources to fight the fire. All those things in 1 week. And so certainly, in addition to everybody else that was mentioned, is certainly the Public Works Department deserves big kudos as well. Yes, sir.
You've hired good people. Like everybody else, they get grouchy at times for hours they spend, but overall, I mean, you can count on them to do what they need to do.
Yes, sir.
Who did the tree cutting on Dewey, the alley right off Clay and Dewey? There's a big tree that fell down in the alley. I mean,
If it was big, it would have probably been one of Hempel or Halter's crews if with Fire and Light. If it was a large tree, it wouldn't have been us that cleared that. So we're still working on it.
but they got it out of there and they cut it up, and just watching everything that happens, because one of the things with elected officials, something like this happens, we get a lot of calls, and then I try to keep in touch with Buzzy and try to get back with them and let them know when this is going to happen, when that's going to happen, and try to do the best we can. But like I said, I just want to thank you. I seen it firsthand because I was out driving around, trying to see, where we at, talk to some of the Public Works people and the Hempel, and seeing how long before this area will be back on, what's the estimated time. And so you guys done a great job.
Well, we try to do the best we can. We're not going to make everybody happy all the time. There's always going to be a few, but we do the best we can anyway.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all's support.
Well, in addition to all the departments that have been mentioned so far, I also wanted to say a special thank you to Holly. I can't tell you how many people told me that in addition to all of the service that was provided throughout this event, the level of communication was at an all-time high. And a lot of people had really good things to say about how well informed they were about every aspect of what was going on in the community. So thank you, everybody. Robert, in addition to what you were saying earlier, 16. So we had 16 linemen in working with Hempel that were from out of state, primarily from Indiana, Indiana Municipal, whatever the EA stands for, IMEA.
And some of them had told us that they were glad to come because we had came to them when a tornado or something happened, and we were right there for them.
Good things happen to people who do good things. And then one other thing I want to add before we go to executive session next week. So we have a busy month for us on the commission. Next week on Tuesday at the Expo Center, is that right? Is it at the Expo Center? At the UK Extension Office is going to be our annual goal setting and a significant capital review meeting. It lasts from 9 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, where we meet with all of our department heads and go over what's in store for the year, and then also hear from the city manager and members of the city commission on what our goals are for the year and things that we'd like to see accomplished. And those have really turned out to be really nice roadmaps for people like Buzzy and Dylan to kind of keep on their agendas for the year in terms of what we should be accomplishing. And I just want to say, I don't have a list in front of me of everything we talked about last year, but there's a lot of tick marks that are checked off on that list from last year that you guys did a heck of a good job. So thank you. Got that meeting coming up 9 o'clock next Tuesday. And with that, we have need for yes, sir. I don't think, did you have anything you wanted to comment to the commission on? Yes. No. I'm sorry. The reason I didn't call specifically is because we had a really nice talk after the last commission meeting. She's wanting to get much more involved in the city, interested in serving on boards, and she has a very much an interest in what's going on in the city and the city commission meetings. Is that right? Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And with that, we have need, yes. Oh, no, we have need to appoint people. Sorry, we got about 5 more minutes in executive session. I'll try to get through these pretty quickly. Okay, so for Board of Zoning and Adjustments, I would like to recommend and entertain a motion to reappoint officially Mac Arnold, who has continued to serve past his appointment date expiration for the completion of his term, which would be the remainder of that 4 years that's left on his term. I did speak with him. I spoke with a couple of people on the board. A lot of people have some really good things to say about him. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve Mac Arnold for the extension through his 4-year term.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Can we do all in favor, or do we have to do roll call? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Next up, we have Civil Service Commission. Got one appointment for Civil Service Commission of the 2 because I'm going to need to do the other one. I haven't talked to her. Guyanne Miller, I spoke with her, and she would love to continue. That's a board that's seldom used, but important when it's needed. And she is excited to serve another 3-year term on that particular board. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve Guyanne Miller to serve out the remainder of her 3-year term on the Civil Service Commission. Thank you. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. On the Code Enforcement Board, we've got one appointment today and one that will happen later next month. The one appointment today is Miss Lisa Onan. She has the remainder of a 3-year term to serve out on that particular board. I've also gotten some really good feedback from her, and she has expressed interest in continuing. I'd like to entertain a motion for Lisa Onan to serve out the remainder of her 3-year term on the Code Enforcement Board.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
On the Municipal Housing Commission, otherwise known as the Housing Authority, I'd like to entertain a motion for Dwight Williams to serve out the remainder of his 4-year term that started September 30th, 2024.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. On the Board of Appeals for Net Profits and Occupational Taxes, this is another one of those boards that is very, very seldom used, important when it's needed. Susan Morgan is on the board. We had a nice chat earlier. I did not have anybody on the list who wanted to serve on this particular board, and she has indicated an interest to continue. I'd like to entertain a motion for Susan Morgan to complete the 3 years remaining, the remainder of her 3-year term on this particular board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, got 2 more boards to address. We have 2 appointments for the Water and Sewer Commission. The first appointment is a reappointment of former Mayor Steve Austin to serve out the remainder of his 3-year term on the Water and Sewer Commission. I'd like to entertain a motion for that to happen.
I'll move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
And then we have another appointment to make on the Water and Sewer Commission, Brenna Cottle. If you don't know Brenna, she is Alex Cottle's wife. And she has some experience in the water industry and has a lot of knowledge to add to that particular board. I would like to entertain a motion for Brenna Cottle to serve out the remainder of a 3-year term on the Water and Sewer Commission.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
And the last one is for the City County Airport Board. This is a joint board appointment with the county. The county has already approved this individual to serve out the remainder of a 3-year term on the City County Airport Board. Glenn Stone. So Glenn Stone, I'd like to entertain a motion for him to, in cooperation with the county, to serve out the remainder of a 3-year term on the City County Airport Board. Thank you. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, Dawn, for reminding me about board appointments, because I would have forgot. Now, Do we have anything else before we go to executive session? And we're not coming out with action, is that right?
No,
Okay.
nothing's happened.
Commissioner Thomas.
I move the commission go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.8101 subsection B for the discussion that may lead to future acquisition of real property located on Letcher Street.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. And we will stay in here, so if you're not part of the executive session, if you don't mind to depart the room, we'll probably need it for about 10 minutes, and then we'll reconvene. executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Pruitt, Thomas. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. And now I need a motion to adjourn, please. Thomas? Second, Hargis. All in favor, aye?